welcome to Equal Entertainment. I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist. Adele wants all concertgoers to stop throwing things on stage. The singer addressed a recent string of onstage incidents. Kelsey Ballerini was hit in the eye after someone threw a bracelet on stage, and Bebe Rexha was hit in the head by a thrown cell phone. According to a clip posted on social media, Adele asked the audience if they had noticed that people are forgetting show etiquette. She then dared them to throw something at her as she held a t-shirt launcher. The Avengers are assembling again, this time for a musical. Disney is giving Disneyland its first Marvel musical. The 30-minute show is called Rogers the Musical. It focuses on the story of Steve Rogers, better known as Captain America. The real-life production was inspired by a fictional Broadway show featured in the Disney Plus series Hawkeye. It'll have 5 new songs with music written by a Grammy-winning composer, and it will run now through August 31st at the Hyperion Theater in Disney California Adventure Park. The Barbie movie is now banned in Vietnam. The issue, a shot of a map with a version of China's 9-dash line, which represents China's territorial claims in the long-contested South China Sea. Vietnam and other countries dispute those claims. The decision came from the National Film Evaluation Council. The movie was slated to open in Vietnamese theaters on July 21st, but now posters advertising the movie have been removed from websites. 1.7% of the U.S. population has some intersex traits. That's equal to the number of redheads in the country. They're born with variations in genitals or chromosome patterns. The new film, Everybody, highlights the champions of the intersex rights movement. I spoke with filmmaker Julie Cohen and producer Tommy Nguyen about this much misunderstood community.
You touched on the piece of it that kind of drew you in some ways originally, which is this mad scientist, John Money, who really guided and influenced the shape of the medical community around intersex people. And what he did was rather egregious. But I think it also speaks to a larger issue of this kind of parents not questioning this white, cisgender, hetero, patriarchal man in a coat. And I think we see that it just has a ripple effect. So I wonder, would you just go a little bit deeper into exposing some of this around John Money, which I think, has larger implications. Tommy, do you want to comment on that?
I was mostly impressed with our archival producer generating and finding all those videos. So I obviously read about John Money, but to watch him in action, these black and white sort of lecture halls, it was just very spooky and scary that these initial conversations was like the backbone of everything that we're reporting on today. So that was eye-opening to me, to read about him, but then to actually see the videos that I didn't know existed to that degree was amazing. I'm not sure, Julie, you found those first or Bridget did, but they were to me, amazing just to watch that.
Yeah, Brigitte Webb, our archival producer, found most of that archival. And I think there's a connection between the vibe that he's giving, that Dr. Money is giving off in that footage and what you're talking about, Tracy.
Yeah.
Just the, I don't know what to call it, the arrogance of privilege. This is a guy who never questioned a thought that he had in his whole life. I'm an expert, I'm the man, you could, got my Harvard education. He actually was from New Zealand. But he was just so sure that he was right in a way that you have to have a lot of privilege to be so damn sure that your way is the way and that you're not going to be harming, that you can make a fairly radical conception of how to treat people that won't be harmful.
Everybody premiered on June 30th in 250 theaters nationwide. Scissor Sisters frontman Jake Shears has had much success on his own. Now the artist has a new album, Last Man Standing, featuring a collab with Kylie Minogue and the bisexual star of The Sex Lives of College Girls, Renee Rapp. I recently spoke with Shears about the motivation for his new album.
Yeah, I sort of halfway through writing this record, I was kind of thinking Yeah, I always sort of put slow songs or more contemplative songs on albums. And then suddenly I was like, what if I didn't do that at all with this record? And what if it was just like a train? It just keeps going and just like gets more and more intense and kind of relentless.
Yeah.
And then I had the idea to start really make two very distinctive sides with it, make the more kind of poppy, accessible stuff in the first side of it, and sort of get a little bit more indulgent with the second part. And I think I just went back and I was thinking about it the other day. There's 10 different characters on the record. I write a lot of times in different voices. There's other people singing the songs. So there's a lot of different characters, and it's very cinematic, I think, in parts of this album. I mean, and sometimes the stories in my head are vague, but like Do the Television is definitely like not being sung by like a good person. This is like an authoritative, almost cult-like figure that's singing this song. It's a song about breakdown of communication, the loss of language, language changing meaning. You get into Radio Eyes, and I mean that's like a full sci-fi battle with like, like aliens coming to Earth and like completely like bringing on this entirely new culture. There's a battle that happens in the middle of the song, and the end, the fanfare sort of signifies the triumph of the humans winning over these other creatures.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even realize I'm doing that until it's done. You know what I mean? Like I look back and I'm like, oh my God. But there's definitely like a cinematic quality to a lot of this stuff. A lot of them are like little mini movies and like journeys, and sometimes the songs speak to one another. I mean, you've got Voices, my song with Kylie, and the next song on the record, I Used to Be in Love, starts out with with me singing I used to have voices talking in my head. So it's like the next song is singing about what just happened in the song before. And writing in the album format to me is so important, with songs speaking to one another and sort of communicating with one another and building a narrative arc.
And Kylie, you have some incredible people who show up to help you tell this story, including Kylie, and then Big Frida and Iggy Pop. And the most incredible really is this Jane Fonda voiceover in Radio Eyes. Would you talk a little bit about bringing these folks in?
Yeah, Jane and I met over a decade ago, and she loved Scissor Sisters, and was we've had some wonderful times together. That I had made, like, there's a little movie project I was working on. I wrote this monologue that she did for me, and it was like a little 2-minute movie project that was directed by Luke Guilford. And I remember when I was making this, I was thinking like, God, this would be so, I need something like that thing that I did with Jane. And then I was like, oh, why don't I just go back to the raw takes and see what's there? And so I sort of structured it, and then I sent it to her.
Yeah.
I emailed her and I was like, I don't know what you're gonna think of this, but I've like put you basically into this like really intense sort of like techno opera track. What do you think? And she just wrote back, she was just like, have at it. I was like, thank you. And Big Frida is like another, it's just like I live in New Orleans part-time.
Yeah.
I have for a long time. Frida is, I think, one of the most important artists of my generation. And also, she's the queen diva of New Orleans. And like, I got a call from Frida's management asking me if I'd be interested in writing with Frida. And that was just, I was overjoyed, and we ended up getting along great. And I really enjoyed the studio time that I spent with Frida. And
time. And would you talk a little bit about making something so overtly queerly sensible at this moment in our
I think the main thing about this record, and I think that it's such an important thing. I mean, there's so much hardship right now, and it's in the US, yes, there's a whole, I think they are trying to erase the LGBTQ plus folks across the map, and it's terrifying. There's a lot of struggle going on, and I think that one of the things that we can't give up is our own joy. And I think that our joy is powerful, and we can't forget it, and you can't leave it behind. And I think queer joy is incredibly important, and no matter what, we can't lose it. And I think that this record is I think sort of it's full of queer joy.
You can watch the Advocate channel live by downloading our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. For the Advocate channel, I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist, and thank you for watching.